Hi and welcome to another free.volous episode. If you're new here, hi and welcome. My name is Solange. I'm a 44-year-old actress from Lisbon, Portugal, and I like beauty stuff. So sometimes I sit down and chat to you about the beauty industry news or my experiences with products that I've bought. And because my experiences will always be very subjective, like anyone's, I try to give you as much information as possible, aka I talk a lot, so that you can make informed decisions if you are thinking of buying anything. This is all very old school type thing and it's very light-hearted. The only thing that really kind of grinds my gears sometimes is when beauty brands try to fearmonger us or just cash grab for our hard-earned money with over-promising and under-delivering. But I think, you know, it comes with the game. And as you can see, there are no filters either on my face on this video and neither in my opinions, which can change with time. I'm not above that, but so that you know, everything is quite upfront. And today we're going to do my free.volous takes, where I pick up some beauty launches, recent but not too recent at times, beauty launches, and I chat about what made them pique my interest in one way or another. And also as a consumer, the fact that I don't do these videos very often and they're not very regular, it allows me to take a step back and look at the products that I saw launching and think, do I still want them? Am I still interested in them? And also if the influencers and people in the beauty community whose opinions I trust, if they still grab for those products after a while has passed, or if it was just a fun fad that at the end of the day, the product wasn't that amazing for them. And also sometimes it's just hashtag sponsored, we all know that, but I like to see what can endure this never-ending storm of products just jumping in front of our eyes and saying, just buy me, buy me, buy me, buy me, which is very, you know, overwhelming and also can make us make bad decisions and not having as much impulse control. So that's what we're going for today. Talk about the new beauty launches from the past few months. I'm going to put my glasses on. I'm sorry if there's some reflection, but it's something I can't control. But at this point, I can't read without them. So we have to pick and choose, and I'm going to go into my saved makeup products list. And we'll go in no particular order because sometimes I go back and look for some products that I really want to talk about and that I haven't saved. And it's been a few months, so cuddle in and bring a beverage if you'd like. So the first thing I wanted to chat about was the e.l.f. release of the Soft Glam Satin Foundation. This I thought was a nice thing. I like e.l.f. very much, although I can't find it in store in Portugal. I get it through Beauty Bay, and I thought this was a nice launch. I haven't had a great experience with foundation products from e.l.f., but many other products from them I really love. And I was curious about this one, and they say it's a long-lasting, hydrating liquid foundation that delivers medium buildable coverage and a satin finish. The fact that it's a satin finish, long-lasting, I thought it was interesting and lots of promises there. And it had 38 shades in kind of an acceptable gradient, $8 for a foundation. And in this day and age, an affordable foundation by a reliable brand is something that I really crave. To be honest, it ended up, as far as I could tell, people with oilier skin types and even combination skin types, they didn't love this. It felt like it wasn't lasting on them that much, or as in a dignified way for a long time. It started to look really iffy after a while. So I ended up not buying this and trying it for myself because of that. Although it's quite affordable, I didn't want to waste my money and have another foundation lying around. Also because e.l.f.'s shade range is quite saturated in the undertones, so it's either very yellow or orange or very pink or peach. There's not enough nuance there, so finding a shade match for me, it's usually quite difficult from them, so I kind of skipped it. Another amazing launch that I was very interested in were the Yummy Skin Lift and Flex Concealers by Danessa Myricks. Listen, anything Danessa Myricks does, I'm interested in. It may not be for me at the end of the day, but I love her view of the makeup world, you know, and this was no exception. I think this was lacking in her line. A concealer and a liquid concealer at that, especially in the Yummy Skin kind of line, and I ended up buying it. So here it is. I have mine in shade 8, and it was great for me during the summertime. It's quite yellow based. Again, they have a very saturated undertone line, and they don't have as many colors that I would like to see, or shades. I think they should expand. She usually does that. So the promises are medium to full coverage concealer, serum hybrid formula that flexes with your skin to lift, smooth, correct, and cover with a natural soft matte finish. I think it does have a natural soft matte finish. I do find that it kind of smooths the skin and it doesn't crease too much. And yes, I wouldn't say medium to full coverage. I would say medium, and it's a very, you know, natural matte look that looks like skin. It's not too oily under the eyes or anything. I really like the concealer actually, and I'm pondering on buying another shade. The thing is, Danessa Myricks, at least in Europe, is so expensive. I think this is $30, so for us it will be 36 euros or something for a concealer. So I will think about that. Right now I'm very happy with my Tower 28 also, so they can balance each other out. A product that I was really interested in, and I think I haven't seen anyone talk about this, and anyone in the group of influencers that I follow at least, a tubing brow gel by Milk. The Kush High Roll Brow Tints. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shades. It says 24-hour hold, high definition, a hint of tint in your perfect shade. Listen, I usually forget, when I go to Sephora, I forget to look at the Milk gondola because they're getting smaller. Milk, REM, Rare Beauty, some of those gondolas are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. I don't think they're making too much of a hit right now here in Portugal, but also Portuguese Sephora doesn't do a good job of, you know, selling products and being updated with the launches. But I think I will put this in my notes and look it up, because on paper this sounds like a great idea, and I love anything tubing for your lashes. So it would make sense that it will give a bit more thickness to the brows and a bit of tint. If it works, if it doesn't, I don't know. But it's one that I'm willing to try. So this, I think I will, because I haven't heard anybody talk about it, maybe it's because it's not good. But usually people like to trash products when they're not good. I don't know. Maybe they did a poor work of sending PR or anything or something like that. But yeah, I'm very interested. And I think I'm the shade either Dutch or Grind. And I'll probably try to get this product, and maybe I will do a review on it or something. Next up, let's talk about beautiful packaging, but the juice, is it there? Les Filles Rouges. I have their palette that has 3 highlighters and 3 blushes, but they came out with La Palette Yeux, and it's a 3-pan palette with 3 very basic, which makes sense for the brand, cream eyeshadows. And the pictures look beautiful, but listen, cream eyeshadows for me, it always feels like I'm gonna lose that battle. I have oily lids, I have oily everything, so it's not gonna last on me. But I would like to say this palette, the aesthetics of this palette is, I've seen things like this in the 90s, and it's still so beautiful to me. The product photography or the model photography with the product on is absolutely gorgeous also. But yeah, I've seen a few reviews and it feels like it's a bit Vaseline-y and it's not too much of a payoff in terms of the product. I don't know. I didn't try it in store. It wasn't available when I went to Paris. Expensive. Expensive. It's one of those niche brands. Then I have something that I want to talk about. the eyeshadow quads by Chanel for the fall. I've seen them in store. I really like these two color stories. They speak to my soul, except for maybe that green, although it's a borderline chartreuse, which I can wear. Most greens don't look good on me, but every other color in here on both quads is absolutely stunning. And I was really surprised and pleasantly surprised that Chanel came out with such a colorful theme. Also for fall, which usually is burgundies and deep reds and coppers and golds, you know, that kind of warm color story. The thing is, I tried this in store, and this kind of shade, these kinds of shades, they have to be highly pigmented, in my opinion, and create, you know, an opaque wash of color on your eyes. Because if you use these colors in a translucent way, it will look like with a purple you will look bruised, with a yellow you will look weird and sick, and even with the pinks you may look like you have pink eye. So it can't be sheer, it needs to be a good high opacity pigment, and that's where I think, at least from my finger swatches in store, that's where it fails. But you know, shout out to Chanel for these two color stories, at least, because they don't come out with anything very exciting very often. So there you go. Then again, pretty packaging, nice color story, but do I want it? I can't afford it. It's the winter collection, fall winter collection from Hermes, limited edition. You know how it goes. They have 3 lipsticks, 2 nail polishes, and a quad. First, the packaging is beautiful. That's what caught my eye. The product shots were really wow, and then the color story is really interesting. The thing is, I would wear, and I do wear often, this kind of powdery dark blue and powdery murky green on my nails. I would wear a jumper with it. I would wear a coat, or even paint a wall with these colors. On my face, not as much. Maybe the blue, these greens don't look that good on me. And especially to have a palette with just these colors and a couple of neutrals, it doesn't make sense in my life. And the fact that they have 2 circular and 2 square pans, I'm not a fan. And then we have the True to Myself Tinted Pressed Finishing Powder by Rare Beauty. I got it. Sadly, I was shade matching at Sephora, so I bought the wrong shade for me. It's a bit too dark. And to be honest, I don't find it to do anything for me. I have yet to try it with a powder puff, but it doesn't come with one. It's supposed to be a portable thing, so it should come with a powder puff in there, right? But the powder itself is a bit too hard pressed, and then when you transfer it to your face, it doesn't do much. At least for me, I need the powder to kind of blot, you know, to tone down my shine. And this didn't seem to do anything. Maybe for people with dry skin types, I don't know. And then next up, Revealed, new Gloss Bombs Shine in a Stick by Fenty. And they also came out with lip pencils, I think. People were raving about these. Listen, I'm not interested just because these are very opaque, and I like a gloss to be sheerer, and then I like my more matte products to be more opaque. So this is not for me. It seems like it's a very good quality product if you like this kind of thing, but I wasn't very interested in it. And I hear that the lip liners are really good. So Ainsley Rain, I don't know. I think of Ainsley. What was her name? Ainsley Hayes from The West Wing. Anyway, Ainsley Rain Cosmetics is one of those indie brands that you should keep an eye out. They came out a while ago with a Flutter and Flourish palettes. And both of them have very beautiful color stories based in kind of nature or seasons and stuff. Flutter palette is a bit more dwindled down, more soft, a bit more cool toned, and tiny bit grungy. And then the Flourish palette has those bold, almost tropical colors. Let me tell you, these all look amazing. Ainsley Rain is infamously quite expensive, so I like them coming out with smaller palettes, and I like the fact that the palettes are magnetized, so you can move your shades around. You can, if you have more than one palette, you can mix and match shades and create your own color stories, which is really nice. It's one of those brands that I really want to try something out from, and they are sold at Monolith shop here in Europe. It's hard to get the products when they are launched. They sell out very quickly, but that's where you can get most indie beauty brands right now in Europe. Next, this release, I was jumping up and down when I saw this, and then I got sad, and I'll tell you why. This is Westman Atelier, and they had a shade extension for their tinted highlighter, the Super Highlight Super Loaded Highlighter. The shade, the new shade, is Peau de Peony, so peony skin, and this is a beautiful pink. And I have Peau de Pêche, a subscriber of mine, sent me because she doesn't like the highlighter, and on me that's amazing because it looks very sheeny and hydrated, moisturized skin, but it doesn't feel tacky or creamy or slippy in any way, and it doesn't emphasize my pores. For me, these are more luminous or highlighting blushes than necessarily just highlighters. Just keep that in mind, at least the color that I have. And this one goes the same way, but in a pinky lilac shade. And I was kind of like, I think I'm gonna save up and bite the bullet. Problem. This is online only as far as I can see. I've been to 2 Westman Atelier gondolas in Paris and in London, look at me, and I couldn't find this color anywhere. And then I realized this was online only. This adding to the fact that it's $80 or $75, and then you probably will have to add shipping and customs. I will probably never have this shade. If you find it in store, send me pictures of swatches and tell me how much you would charge me for for the service of sending them to me, because I couldn't find this in store. Ooh, yeah, Odensai came out with another Solmona palette and an extension to the blushes and highlighters in that collection. Their eyeshadows are really good. Highly recommend this color story. I'm not the biggest fan. I decided not to buy them. I have loads of amazing Odensai eyeshadows, so it was an easy pass.
Hi, editing me here. This is the perfect spot to add a couple new news that came out before I could edit and publish this video, and I couldn't leave them hanging. So the first one is from also Odensai. It's their holiday release. They have been releasing 2 palettes for the holidays for about 2 years now, 3 years. This is the 3rd release. I have the first 2 palettes from the first year, and they're amazing. I love them. And here is the new holiday collection. So there's Rosy Jingle, which is more pastel driven. Some people say it's a spring palette, and I get it, but I find that a bit reductive. I think this palette has enough variety to bring some ethereal and moody looks for this time of the year, which I welcome as an alternative to that Christmas tree decoration sort of color story that everybody's coming out with. Then you have some playful, yes, pastel looks and colors for spring, some brightness and pop to use in the summertime, and it's always within that more cool leaning color story that everybody has been craving for. Also, I think it's more interesting to invest in a palette that you will be able to use all year round than something for just a couple weeks of the year, I think. Now then, we have Silvery Bliss, which has a delightful red-based color story, a bit more smoky. They have 2 red mattes. Oh, thank you. A sparkly red. And then my eyes go immediately towards that beautiful selection of dusty but not dead mauves to complement the reds. I think it's gorgeous, and I just love red eyeshadows. I love smoky eyes, so yeah. As I said, Odin's Eye quality has never disappointed me. The reviews I've seen on these palettes have been pretty positive. So if you like the color stories, these are under 50 euros each. I personally don't need any more palettes, but these are tempting me so much. Next release I have to talk about is Caroline Hirons' brand Skin Rocks. They have finally come out with a balm cleanser. It is, for me, and I believe many, the iconic product everyone was waiting for from her. Caroline is the mother of balm cleansers. She has been converting us to them and to double cleansing way back before any of this was remotely mainstream. Now, Skin Rocks is an expensive brand in its own right. Ever since it came out, I wanted to try it, but the prices always make me back out. It's hard for me to spend so much on something I don't know is going to work. They don't believe in travel sizes or samples. And I already have some eye-wateringly expensive faves like Saatchi. So when choices have to be made whenever I have to restock, I usually chicken out and stick to what I know in terms of retinoids and acids and all that kind of stuff. But cleansers are an easy try. And although there are so many awesome affordable ones out there, I do sometimes allow myself to splurge on some luxurious cleansers because I love the experience, and some have actually absolutely unique textures. And this one seems to be just delightful. Anyway, as luck would have it, I have recently gotten the gel cleanser from Skin Rocks. It's my first product from them, and I'm loving it. So this one will have to wait. I have no doubt in my mind this is a banger of a product. It checks all my boxes. Just listen to this.
So it had to be, number one, it had to be super efficacious. I don't like a cleansing balm that's too greasy. I don't like one that leaves a film on your face. I don't like one that leaves your eyes blurry. So we had to take care of all of that. Texture is key. Everyone's obsessed about the texture of cleansing balms. Me, probably more than anyone. And so, yeah, everything had to fit. Our complex is the same in this as it is in the support oil. So yes, you're getting a brilliant cleanser, but we're doing it without stripping the skin, damaging your barrier, and we're doing everything to soften and smooth.
But I can't afford it right now. That's all. It will have to wait. Please hold, Paula, as Caroline would say. Back to the scheduled programming.
Then I've seen nobody talk about this, but I'm the only one who usually goes and check on Romand here and there because I love Romand lip products. And this, I'm so curious. I haven't seen this on sale anywhere. I don't know if it has been released or not, but this is meant to be a tint lipstick balm. So it is very glossy like the balmy lipsticks. Lip balm glossy. What? I haven't spoken Portuguese for you. The glossing melting balms. So they seem to have that kind of color payoff and shine and glossiness and balminess, but they are tints. So this looks absolutely perfect. I love Romand, the glossing melting balms and the lip tints in different variations. If this is a blend of them too, and you apply this onto your lips and there is a stain left behind after the gloss is gone, I'm gonna buy every single shade. Then I saw this, I realized this was released first to the Asian market, which makes some sense. It's Maybelline coming out with what it's called the Superstay Teddy Tints. And these, I have a few of these kinds of products. These are those liquid lipsticks that feel velvety and lightweight, like the one that I'm wearing right now. They are a bit more blurring, a bit more forgiving. They are not transfer proof, but they look a bit better on the lips. They give you that blurred lip effect, which I personally love. And these have pretty, sort of neutrally shades that you can wear full on or blurred out, which is really nice. So I love the Blur Fudge Tints by Romand. It's the one that I'm wearing today. And I also love the Kaleidos ones. My favorite blurring kind of powdery velvety lip products that don't look too piecey on the lips. My lips are very lined, so it's very difficult for my lips to not look cracked with a matte look. And these look less bad on me. On someone with smoother lips, they will look absolutely stunning. Curious to see if they are coming over to Europe. Next up, another one that I may probably end up buying. These are by Singe Beauty, the brand by Angelica Nyqvist, and these are the evocative blushes. So Singe had originally some brushes. I love so many of these, high favorite. And she's dipped her toes into color cosmetics and she's starting with blushes. I'm very happy for her. I liked following her on YouTube. We don't have similar aesthetics, but we have similar skin needs, and we have oily skin and even similar skin tones at times. So I like her take on products, even when I'm not using them in the same way as she does. And I like her take on life. So she's a fun one to follow. And she's coming out with the evocative blushes, which are glowy buildable formulas. And she came out with 4 colors, which are very interesting. They're not your classic, you know, light pink, peach, and terracotta, and you're done. These are very interesting. And of course, she had to include a glowy burnt yellow, which is very interesting because it's so her. I'm interested in the riveting rhubarb, which is the more pinky color, just because I'm not a big fan of warmer colors on me. That's it. But these look delicious, and maybe I will pick them up. They're also available on Monolith. I'm not sponsored by them. I wish I were. I wish I even just had a code to share with you. I've never seen anyone with a code for Monolith. I have to look that up. But yeah, then jumping up in price. Listen, these people could take my kidneys. Just for the aesthetics of the packaging alone. You know what I'm going to talk about? It's Gucci. The Gucci highlighters. They're so pretty. The packaging is pretty. And the model shots are so beautiful. I love this. These look so promising. And I wish I could get my hands on 2 shades. Frosted Lilac, because of course, and Opal Pink. Because again, I like these hybrids between highlighters and blushes. And these 2 colors sing to me. These are the Glow Powder Gel highlighters. Again, I really would like to touch them because this is a different kind of formula, at least on paper. They have, again, 5 different shades. They retail for $59. No, Solange, no, shut up and sit down. Next up, the Makeup by Mario brand came out with 3 very interesting things. The Surreal Skin Soft Blur Setting Powder, the Setting Spray, and the Master Pro Puff to apply the powder, obviously. I was super interested in the powder. I still am, but I had just bought my Huda, so I lost that train. I'm really curious about this powder. I've heard people with oily skin sing so many praises about this powder that I'm just so curious. Oh, my leg is dying. Oh, it's falling asleep. Anyway, let's pretend I'm not going to have pins and needles, and I'm going to say probably when I finally finish my Huda powder, I'll get this Makeup by Mario one. I'll try to be a good girl and not have another loose powder while I have these 2 going. Am I strong enough? I don't know, because I'm really curious. If this comes out in the minis and a travel size, I will probably fail miserably. And then we had 2 Lisa Eldridge launches. This one was for another eyeshadow palette, which was Fawn, and matte liquid eyeshadows. I like her liquid lurex eyeshadows. So these were interesting, the liquid silks. I have Gaia underway. I really wanted to get that camel color too, Phoebe, but I had to choose. I love that she's coming out with these neutrals, and I hope these can work as basis for eyeshadows, because when it comes to the eyeshadow palette, if you know, you know, it didn't work for me at all. Lisa Eldridge eyeshadows on me they fade in a matter of hours to nothing. And they leave a couple of creases on my eyes and there's nothing else left on my face. It's the weirdest thing. I've tried all the tricks in the book with the primers and all that stuff, and setting the primer, not setting the primer, all those things, and I couldn't make them work for me. So I was super bummed because it looks and it applies beautifully. They're so easy to apply and wear, but then they don't last. I'm thinking maybe these liquid eyeshadows can work as bases for the eyeshadows. That would be nice and make them last longer on me. And I'm very curious to see if they work just on their own, because these are ideal for just swipe them, pat them on and leave out the door, because at least my experience with the liquid Lurex is just like that. Glam Shop, which nobody talks about, is coming out with came out with a lilac based collection. It has an eyeshadow palette, gel eyeshadows, bronzers, blushes. So it's quite comprehensive. I find the palette, the color story, so enthralling. And this is so affordable. It's coming. And I also bought one of the gel eyeshadows because the formula, again, the type of formula was interesting to me. So I'll let you know when it comes. I just fell head over heels for the color story. Another palette that launched, Makeup by Mario, the second Ethereal Eyes. This is the Moonlight palette. Very pretty, not my type of color story. This will look very wishy-washy on me. It's very gray based. I must confess, I've never tried Makeup by Mario eyeshadows. I liked the Ethereal Eyes, the idea of it, but it was always sold out and it was so expensive that it was one of those that I kept pushing aside. And I really like the original Master Mattes with all the skin colors. That one is absolutely gorgeous. I hear good things and average things about the formula of that one. So I'm always on the edge of buying it, and then I recoil and I end up not biting the bullet. And yeah, the first photos that I saw of this palette were one thing, and I was kind of like, I think I'm gonna get it. And then they came out and I was kind of like, oh, it's nothing like I thought it would be. This is by Nomad Cosmetics, and it's the Speakeasy Vibes palette, or Chicago Speakeasy palette. First, the inspiration of this palette is right up my alley, the Jazz Age, Art Deco, I'm there. And then you have the purples, and then it seemed like you were going to have reds, very bright reds. Those were the first pictures that I saw of this palette. And I was very interested, despite having two very bright lettuce greens in the middle. I was kind of like, I think I still want it. And then the new pictures came out, and then swatches started circling, and the reds turned out to be an orangey color, a very orangey muted terracotta color, and the shimmery one is a copper, a very orangey copper. It's not a bright shimmery red, glittery, red that should be like the packaging suggests. So I was kind of like, okay, one less that I want. Cool. Patrick Tar came out with a foundation a couple of months ago. People were going berserk over the foundation. I was kind of like, okay, people like Patrick Tar, I guess. I have never tried anything from them. Fine. And then people started applying the foundation. First, if it's a luminous foundation and you have oily skin, it's like the likelihood of it working for you is very little, right? You know that. And you're still buying the product to say it doesn't work for you. Wow, money. But then you had the people with dry skin saying it was too heavy on them too. And it was a huge dud. And I was kind of like, oh, okay, that's a problem. Patrick Tar has had a few oopsies recently, right? And then he came out with these Major Dimension Eye Illusion eyeshadow duos. And people were so upset about the price. He was selling his foundation for $70. What did you think the duos were gonna cost? It's of course, a duo will always be more expensive than a quint per eyeshadow. A quint will be more expensive than a palette, a bigger palette per eyeshadow, and a single will be more expensive than a duo per eyeshadow. That's just how it works. And then by the swatches, just going by the swatches, these look high foil. So these are not easy to make unless you go to Glam Shop. And they have so many foily eyeshadows that for €3 and €4. But these are other types of formulas, I guess, that are very expensive to make. And they have their little packaging, very, very beautiful and luxurious. Of course it adds up. I think it's expensive, but I've always found Patrick Ta expensive. It doesn't seem out of line for him. If I had the money, I don't know if I'd buy them, but I would like to test out the pink duo called I'm With Her and the darky brownie colors Still at the Club. These look delicious, and I'm always on the hunt for a glossy brown that doesn't look taupey grey and doesn't look gunmetal-y, and at the same time doesn't look bronzy. Still on the hunt, and that there's one color there that could maybe be it. Anyway, I find it quite okay. I was having some fun watching people going berserk online, screaming at Patrick Ta for the price of the products. Next up, Blend Bunny Cosmetics collabed with Robert Welsh. You can, I think, place a pre-order on this collection on Monolith also. I saw it recently. And Robert Welsh, you know, is Robert Welsh, and he came out with the Divination collection. It has one of those rainbow palettes catered to Robert's likes, and then a couple of glosses and a couple of eyelashes, fake eyelashes. It's not my type of color story. Yeah, if you like this kind of color story, Blend Bunny is a really good indie brand. Huda Beauty also came out with the Easy Blur foundation. I must confess, I'm curious. Everything that is blurring on my face, I want to know. I want to see it working. And yeah, it looks super impressive on her face, on the photos. And I've seen several creators. Some of them are saying it's nice, but it's not life-changing. Some people are saying I do notice a huge improvement in the texture visually on my skin. So it's kind of like it's either good or very good. So I'm curious about this one. I'm not going to buy foundations because I have the face bond anytime soon, but this is one I'm curious about. Again, the shade matching from Huda is not incredible, but also Huda came out with the Icy Nude collection. The highlight of it is the Icy Nude palette, which allegedly is the last palette, or at least big palette she's coming out with, ever. That's a bold claim. In a couple of years when eyeshadows are back on trend, maybe you'll not enjoy having said that. But anyway, I'm not in love with this color story, as I've never been with any color story from Huda except for one, something rose quartz maybe, palette, but I didn't buy it. I just, every time I looked at it, I just fawned and I stepped away. This doesn't call to me. It feels again very grey-y and not in a way that would be wearable for me. It didn't call my name. Sorry that it's the last palette, big palette that you're coming out with, Huda. This one I saved to chat to you about my concept of something that could work so well, but they decided to not make it work, which is Rabanne came out with a 1969 Makeup Clutch highlighter. Again, limited edition. And this is so in line with my theory that if you want to be especially a high-end brand, and if you want to be a designer brand, a maison brand, one of the great things that you could create is beautiful compacts and cases, jewel-like, reflecting the aesthetic of your house, and then making refillable products, high quality, basics that people use up and want to buy again, to put in those compacts. And you can make those compacts more collectible and create different iterations, but still always having those refills. And these guys came out with this limited edition compact case with a limited edition highlighter. And I'm kind of like, talk about lost opportunities. It's so sad. It's so sad. The product looks a bit glittery also, but if I could refill this with anything to my liking from the Rabanne collection, I would maybe want to buy it without those weird dangly colorful gems. Just the case itself. It's really beautiful. The case itself, 190 euros, limited number. And it's not refillable because they just don't believe in that.
Also, of all things, when was the last time you had to walk around with your highlighter?
What a waste. Things have been slow in terms of skincare. Allies of Skin came out with the Vitamin C Omegas Cleansing Balm. This looks scrumptious. A silky cocooning balm that will condition the skin while it melts off the most stubborn makeup. So it's a good makeup remover. It's supercharged with antioxidants and omega-rich oils. And I would say, why? But this can be left on the skin as kind of a mask on your face. So I like that. $49. Yeah, it's a bit expensive. I see a place in my kind of cleanser collection for another cleanser, but it is taken by the Caroline Hirons Skin Rocks Gel Cleanser, which came out recently also, and because Caroline Hirons was the one that introduced me personally, as many hundreds or thousands of people, to double cleansing about 10 or 12 years ago, something like that, I had to buy her first gel to oil cleanser because I really wanted to try it out. It's really nice. Mother Pat and her holiday release. Listen, color me unimpressed again. I don't know what's up with that brand, to be honest. They have loads of eyeshadows. The Mega Eyeshadow Palette retails for $76. There is one color there that I would like to have if they could release it as a single, please, which is right in the center, that purple to pink to lilac shade. It looks glorious. And if it's one of her special shade formulas, it will be glorious on the skin. Then she has 5-pan eyeshadows for $38. I like the purpley one again. Then she has duos for $25. Sure, and then she has lipsticks and glosses. Listen, sure, you have one size for each taste, each type of taste. Yeah, but listen, I don't know what's going to happen to Pat McGrath, to be honest. Hindash came out with the gradient highlighters. Everybody was having their knickers in a twist for this. It looks nice. The product photography is really beautiful. The models look really pretty. The highlighters have a bit of a gradient from one color to the other. It's not shifting as far as I can tell. But I don't see why everybody is so excited. I know Hindash is very highly rated by some people in the beauty sphere. It's not my thing. But yeah, I just feel very surprised at times when things get a load of hype. I'm just waiting for the reviews to drop. I haven't seen many. Then Cosmic Beauty or Cosmic Brushes came out with, to this point, 3 palettes: the Nude Trolls, the Cool Trolls, and the Undergrowth, which is the green one. All of these look amazing. I cannot recommend Cosmic Beauty enough. At the moment, I have my 3 perfect colorways or color stories from Cosmic Brushes. I didn't feel too tempted to get any of these, except maybe for the nude trolls, where you can find a few browns and mustard colors and even some mauves, which I would be very interested in, but I have in other iterations. But if you like any of these color stories, trust me, from my previous experience with Cosmic Brushes, it's one of those that you can trust you will have great quality for a fairly affordable price. All of them £28. You can find them at Cosmic Brushes UK. You can find them at Monolith also. Then I stumbled upon this on my For You page and I saved this because it looks so beautiful. This is from a brand called Girl Cult. I think it's a Chinese brand. I'm gonna look into where I can find it, because these two colors specifically are haunting me. This is the Mirror Lipstick in L06 Before Sunrise, and the Mirror Lip Glaze in J809 Escape from Earth. So unusual. These are true browns, you know, and they look absolutely stunning. Stunning. I just had to show you something that jumped at me on my For You page that I was kind of like, finally, the algorithm gets something right. Also from Ainsley Rain Cosmetics, the 15-pan Underland palette is kind of their Halloween-y release. This looks beautiful. Again, gorgeous color story. It has reds in there that look to be actually red. Some purple, some dusty colors. Very grungy in a beautiful way, and the swatches look absolutely stunning. They have loads of not just duochromes and metallics, but holochromes, so with hollow glitters in there. It looks stunning. Am I going to get it? No, it's not my cup of tea, and I can make kind of some of these color stories with what I have, but I really want to dig my fingers in those special shades for sure. Then the launch of the year for many people. This is the Lisa Eldridge Rouge Experience Refillable Lipsticks. This is a great concept. It's not that there aren't already refillable lipsticks, it's just that Lisa noticed, according to her, that all the refillable lipsticks that she's found, the refillable part, so when you use up your lipstick, the part that is left that you're supposed to throw away, you can't recycle it. So it creates waste. It's not recyclable because of the components in there. And she fought long and hard to get a fully aluminium component for that refill, so that it can be fully recycled with no problem whatsoever everywhere, which is great. And in her video, she explains every kind of trick to make sure that your component is recycled. And then she created the outer component that is the beautiful, heavy, bijou-y like part of the lipstick that you can put the refills in. The refills come with a cap, so you can keep the refills at home and just bring with you the color of the day. And I like the idea that she created a new formula that is a bit more everyday friendly, I think. It's not very highly pigmented, but it can be built up, I think. And the deeper shades and the brighter shades seem to have loads of payoff, don't get me wrong. I found that super interesting, and I'm curious about the new formula, of course, because that's what really piques my interest. I confess, I was hoping till the end of the video that she would do the announcement that by, I don't know, 2026 or something, all her previous lipsticks would come in this refill formula or format, and that you could put them in this new bullet, because these lipsticks are magnetized. This is extremely wasteful. It looks so pretty, but it's extremely wasteful. This cannot be recycled because it has the magnet in there. So I was a bit disappointed that she didn't do any mention. She said she would have a shade expansion and more formulas for these refills, but she didn't talk about the previous formulas. I don't know what's up with that. Maybe she is working on it, but she can't speak of it. That's highly likely because, you know, for smaller creators or smaller business people, it is more expensive and more labor intensive and more time consuming and time demanding that for these products to come out and your vision to come out. So I don't know what's up with that. I would just like to say that I was hoping for that announcement. I did buy one, just the refill. I didn't buy the big bulky thing. I want to use the lipstick, make sure I like it enough for me to buy the big component, for me to justify it, because you can use the lipstick on itself. So I'm waiting on the lipstick. It should arrive soon. And then hot from the press, just released a few hours ago from when I'm recording this. This is the Glow by Auric new Mirage Shift palettes. So these are cream palettes with 4 products, 1 bronzer, 1 blusher, then it says highlight and balm. So a more, I assume, colored highlight and then a glossy balm to put on top, I'd assume. This reminds me so much of an Hourglass palette that used to exist with just cream products. And these come in the same vein.
Sorry to barge in, editing me here again. From this point on, all I had to work with were early assumptions, but in the meantime, Samantha released a video explaining everything about the product, so I prefer to leave you the updated version. This palette comes in 3 color stories with different bronzer depths, of course, and then a pink, a coral, and a bolder red blusher, respectively. The balm can be mixed with any of the color creams to sheer them out and give more of a glossy glow, or of course patted on top. They seem to be sheer yet buildable, which for me is perfect. If they're truly oily skin friendly is still to be discovered. Sam has acne prone yet very sensitive skin, which has changed a lot over the past years, so it's hard to say. The great thing about this palette, though, is that it is all magnetized and refillable, and you can also remove the dividers to use it for any pan products on the go. So not only is it more sustainable in the long run if you stick to the brand, but there will come a point in time where we'll be able to customize the colors, actually. I personally don't usually like pre-made face palettes because the brand is making assumptions regarding my blush preferences just based off of my skin tone and bronzer shade. And they usually presume I want corals and peaches, which I don't actually like. But this one is a maybe for the future. We still have to buy a pre-made one first and wait for the singles to drop later on, but this is a small brand daring to think long term. Samantha hinted to the fact that she will, of course, also be working on more blush and highlighter shades, which makes all the sense. But all in all, I find this is an extremely exciting launch, similar to the Lisa Eldridge sustainable approach. These retail for $88 Canadian or US, I don't know, which is steep, but it's meant to be an investment piece for a long-term use. In that context, it makes sense with the market positioning and ethos of this brand. They're never in a hurry to release stuff just for the sake of it, and they try to think beyond trends. They already ship internationally to several countries, so that's that. And to me, she says, in parentheses, with the goodbyes.
I've been sitting here for so long. It's dark outside, and I'm just remembering editing me is going to suffer so much because this is an extremely long video, and I will have to add every single picture to the video. It's going to be many hours of editing. I can tell. Let's not think about it. Let's just say our goodbyes. If you have endured till now, thank you so much for being there. And let me know in the comments below that you did stay till the end. And also let me know, are there some products that you are keeping on your wish list that you're planning on buying? And have you had some disappointments, some products that you were pondering on buying and then you saw reviews and you just don't want them anymore? Let me know in the comments below. Other than that, as usual, comment, like, subscribe, and thank you for spending your time on me. I'll see you on my next video. Bye.